You're just a manager, Mom scoffed, passing the mashed potatoes across our weekly Sunday dinner table. Sarah, honey, when are you going to get a real career like your father? Dad, regional director at Blackwood Industries, puffed up with his usual pride. 25 years building this company. Now that's a career. I pushed food around my plate, hiding my amusement. They had no idea that tomorrow morning, I'd be announced as the new CEO of Blackwood Industries' parent company, Global Ventures Corporation. After a year of quiet acquisitions and strategic moves, the board had unanimously voted me in last week. The corporate world isn't for everyone, Mom continued, her diamond tennis bracelet catching the light as she gestured dismissively. Some people are meant to be middle management. My brother Michael, a VP at Blackwood, smirked. Hey, at least she has health insurance. That's more than most of her college friends can say. If they only knew that I'd orchestrated the merger that had made Global Ventures the controlling entity of Blackwood Industries. That their precious family company was now just one division in my larger corporate empire. How is Blackwood doing? I asked innocently, knowing exactly how it was doing. The quarterly report sat in my private office, showing declining margins and failed expansion attempts. Fantastic. Dad boomed. In fact, we're meeting the new CEO tomorrow. Some hotshot from Global Ventures. Probably another stuffy old man from Yale. I sipped my wine to hide my smile. Stanford MBA actually. And definitely not a man. I heard rumors about restructuring, Michael added, suddenly looking concerned. Think we're safe, Dad? Of course we are. I built this region. They need us. No, they really didn't. The audit-eyed commission showed widespread inefficiencies in regional management. Starting with the nepotism that had put my brother in a VP position he wasn't qualified for. Speaking of work, Mom brightened. I'm hosting the corporate wives luncheon next week. So you should come. Maybe meet someone important. She emphasized the last word meaningfully. I'll be busy, I replied. Busy firing half those women's husbands, but they'd find that out soon enough. Always too busy, Mom sighed. This is why you're still just a manager at. Where are you working now? Global Ventures Corporation. I watched their faces carefully. Lower management, like you said. Dad waved his fork dismissively. Never heard of them before they bought us out. Probably some investment firm playing corporate raider. If he only knew. I'd built Global Ventures from the ground up, turning it into a $50 billion conglomerate by age 35. The corporate raider had been methodically acquiring underperforming companies like Blackwood, streamlining them and turning them profitable. Well, Mom stood to clear the plates. At least come to the company Christmas party this year. Your father's giving a speech as senior management. Actually, I gathered my things, checking my watch. I have a meeting early tomorrow. Can't stay for dessert. A manager with meetings on Monday morning? Michael laughed. What, did someone mess up the coffee order? I pulled on my casual blazer over designer jeans, carefully selected to maintain my middle management appearance. Something like that. Dad walked me to the door, his arm around my shoulders. Don't let it get you down, princess. Not everyone's cut out for upper management. There's no shame in being a worker bee. Thanks, Dad. I kissed his cheek, thinking about the organizational chart sitting on my desk. His position was already marked in red. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow. He frowned. The CEO meeting is closed door. Senior management only. Right, I smiled. My mistake. In my Bentley carefully parked around the corner where they couldn't see it, I changed into a Chanel suit and pulled up the morning schedule on my tablet. The transition team was in place. Security had their new protocols. HR had the restructuring packages ready. Miss Chin, my driver interrupted, your penthouse or the office? Office, I decided. I need to review some personnel files. Specifically my family's personnel files. 25 years of mediocre performance reviews, hidden under layers of corporate politics and relationships. All of it meticulously documented by my team. Tomorrow the worker bee would show them what real corporate power looked like. And they wouldn't see it coming until it was too late. Monday morning, 8:45 a.m. I stood in the private elevator of Blackwood Industries headquarters, watching the numbers climb. My Louboutins, no more sensible flats needed, clicked against the marble floor as I reviewed the day's agenda on my tablet. Security teams in position? I asked my chief of staff, Rebecca. Yes, Ms. Chin. IT has already locked down all executive computers and emails. HR teams are stationed on every floor. She paused. Your father's office has been monitored since 6 a.m. He's been making calls bragging about meeting the new CEO. The elevator opened directly into the executive floor. Through the glass walls, I could see them all gathered in the main conference room, the old guard of Blackwood Industries. Dad at the head of the table, Michael lounging with his feet up. Other executives I'd flagged for immediate termination. Your mother just arrived as well, Rebecca noted. Apparently she's planning to welcome the new CEO with her famous homemade cookies. I smoothed my silk blouse. Let's not keep them waiting. The room fell silent as I entered, flanked by my executive team. Dad's coffee cup slipped from his hand, splattering across quarterly reports he'd doctored for years. Hello, employees, I smiled, taking my place at the head of the table. I'm Sarah Chin, CEO of Global Ventures Corporation. Let's discuss some changes. Sarah. Mom's voice cracked, her Tupperware of cookies forgotten. What is this? This, I activated the room's presentation screens, is a corporate restructuring. Organization charts appeared, showing the new hierarchy. Most of the names in the room were conspicuously absent. Michael shot to his feet. You can't. Dad, tell her she can't. Sit down, Michael, I ordered. Or security will assist you. Dad finally found his voice. Princess, this is some kind of joke. You're a middle manager at. I'm the CEO who just acquired your company, I corrected. The middle manager story was convenient cover while we evaluated Blackwood's operations. Speaking of which, I nodded to Rebecca, who distributed thick folders. These are your performance reviews. Real ones, not the inflated versions you've been circulating. I met each shocked face in turn. Nepotism. Mismanagement. Falsified reports. Did you really think nobody would notice? Tao, wait just a minute. Dad stood, his face reddening. I built this region into the worst performing division in the company, I finished. Your empire building cost Blackwood $140 million last year alone. And Michael's failed digital initiative. I turned to my brother. Another $50 million wasted. Mom's hands trembled as she reached for the papers. But your father's position, his reputation, is built on relationships, not results. I pulled up more data. Every executive in this room owes their position to golf club memberships and country club connections. That ends today. Security teams appeared at the doors. My HR director stepped forward with termination packages. You have 1 hour to clear out your offices, I announced. Severance is generous, 3-month salary plus benefits. Sign the non-disclosure agreements, and we'll keep the real reasons for your departures quiet. You do this to your own family? Michael's voice cracked. Family. I laughed softly. Was it family when you told the board I was just a manager to block my promotion 5 years ago? When Dad ensured I'd never rise above middle management because it would upset the natural order? Realization dawned on their faces. All those blocked opportunities, those dismissive comments, had pushed me to build something bigger than they could imagine. You can't fire me, Dad said desperately. I'm your father. No, Dad. Right now I'm your boss. And you're fired. Mom began to cry. What will we tell our friends? The country club. Tell them your daughter finally made something of herself, I suggested. Isn't that what you always wanted? Security stepped forward as Dad reached for more papers. Don't bother, I said. Your email access is revoked. Files are locked. The mistakes you've been hiding? We found them all. Michael slumped in his chair. The VP position at Microsoft was me, I confirmed. They offered you that job because I asked them to. You turned it down to stay in Dad's shadow. That was your choice. Sarah, Mom tried again. We can talk about this as a family. We are talking about it as a family, I cut her off. The same way you talked about my career every Sunday dinner. How's it feel to be on the other side? The room was silent except for the sound of papers being signed, other executives accepting their fate, eager to escape with severance intact. 45 minutes left, I announced, standing. Rebecca will oversee the transitions. Dad, Michael, security will escort you out. I paused at the door. Oh, and Mom? Keep the cookies. Consider them a severance bonus. 1 month later, I sat in my new office, the entire top floor of what was formerly Blackwood Industries headquarters, now renamed Global Ventures Tower. Through floor-to-ceiling windows, I watched the city skyline I now partially owned, including the country club where my parents had spent decades building their social network. Miss Chen, Rebecca entered with the morning briefings. The transition numbers are in. Profits up 40% since the restructuring. The board is thrilled. And my family? She pulled up a different report. Your father has been making calls to his old contacts, but most won't take them now. Michael applied for 3 VP positions at competing firms, all rejected after basic background checks revealed his performance history. Your mother. Let me guess, still hosting those corporate wives' luncheons? Actually, she's been uninvited from most social circles. Apparently, having your children fire you is bad for country club status. I turned to my desktop, pulling up the surveillance photos. Dad, looking diminished in casual clothes, leaving a job interview at a mid-sized firm. Michael selling his luxury car. Mom sitting alone at what used to be her favorite restaurant. The trust fund. I asked, though I knew the answer. Frozen as per your instructions. They're living on their severance packages now. Your father's membership at Sterling Hills Golf Club has been discontinued. I smiled slightly, remembering all the times he'd used that membership to make deals, blocking my advancement while promoting Michael's. Any other updates? Yes. Your mother's been calling the office daily. This morning she left a message about Sunday dinner. Of course she had. Even now, she was trying to maintain the facade of family normalcy. As if we could all sit down to pot roast and pretend the last month hadn't happened. Send flowers, I decided. With a note, sorry, too busy with upper management duties. Rebecca smiled and made a note. Also, the Anderson family called again. They're eager to discuss a merger. The same Andersons who rejected my proposal 3 years ago because, quote, we don't deal with middle management? The very same. Schedule them for next week. Late afternoon, make them wait. I stood straightening my suit. Now about those quarterly projections. A knock interrupted us. Through the glass walls, I saw my father standing in the reception area, looking lost in his off-the-rack suit. He doesn't have an appointment, Rebecca said quickly. I know. I watched him shift uncomfortably under the receptionist's gaze. Let him wait 15 minutes, then send him in. When he finally entered, Dad looked older than I'd ever seen him. The bluster was gone, replaced by something approaching humility. So, Princess. It's Miss Chin in this building, I corrected, not offering him a seat. What do you want, Dad? He pulled out some papers, resume printouts, I realized. I've been looking for work. 25 years of experience and nobody will even interview me. Experience in what? Golf course negotiations? Nepotism? I took the papers, pretending to review them. Your actual performance metrics are public record now. Did you think other companies wouldn't check? I built relationships. You built a house of cards, I cut him off. And now you're surprised it fell when someone finally looked at the foundation. He slumped. Your mother misses you. We all do. This past month has been eye-opening, I suggested. Amazing how perspective changes when you're not at the top anymore. We're still family. Are we? I turned to the window. When I was just a manager, you never visited my office. Never asked about my work. Never thought your daughter could be more than a worker bee. Why the sudden interest in family now? His reflection in the glass showed defeat. I need help, Sarah. Your brother's depressed, your mother's social circle has abandoned her, and I can't provide anymore. Like I couldn't provide when you cut me out of family investments? When you told potential employers I wasn't executive material? I turned back to him. Karma's interesting, isn't it? What do you want from us? His voice cracked. An apology? Fine, I'm sorry. We were wrong. You've proven that. Now can we please be a family again? I picked up a folder from my desk, one I'd prepared weeks ago, knowing this moment would come. Here's what I'm offering. Michael can have an entry-level position in our Singapore office. Real work, no fancy title. Mom and you get a monthly allowance, modest, but enough to maintain a middle-class lifestyle. Singapore? But his whole life is here. My whole life was here too, I reminded him. Until you made it impossible for me to succeed. Consider this a learning opportunity. He took the folder with trembling hands. And us? What are we supposed to do? Learn what it's like on the other side. Maybe develop some empathy. I sat back down, dismissing him. The offer's good for 48 hours. After that, you're on your own. You're enjoying this, aren't you? A flash of the old anger surfaced. Punishing us? No, Dad. I'm running a business. The fact that it's satisfying is just, what did you used to call it? A performance bonus. After he left, Rebecca returned with more reports. Your brother's car just sold at auction. Your mother's club membership is being terminated tomorrow. Should I proceed with the Singapore arrangements? Yes. I looked at the family photo still on my desk from happier times, before career ambitions and social climbing had poisoned everything. But upgrade their apartment package. Something nice but not luxurious. And set up a college fund for Michael's kids. Going soft? She asked with a raised eyebrow. No. Teaching a lesson. I turned back to the city view. Sometimes people need to lose everything to understand what they had. That Sunday, instead of attending family dinner, I sat in my penthouse reviewing acquisition proposals. My phone buzzed with a text from Mom. Pot roast tonight. Your favorite. I replied with a photo of my view from Global Ventures Tower, writing, too busy being just a manager. Maybe next time. Then I turned back to my work, building an empire while they learned what it felt like to start from scratch. Sometimes the best revenge isn't in the taking, it's in the teaching. And I had so much left to teach them.